Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Muhammad Rafiq from Cholistan University of Veterinary and Animal Sciences, Bahawalpur. In this lecture, we will learn about the enzymes. The objectives are introduction to enzyme, how enzyme work, the properties of enzymes, structure of enzyme, mechanism of enzymatic action, lock and key model, induced fit model, free energy profile, rate of reaction and observed kinetics, factors that affect the enzyme activity. Introduction to enzyme, a biological catalyst. The living cell is the site of tremendous biochemical activity called the metabolism. The process of chemical and physical change which takes place continuously in the living organisms. Building up of new tissues, replacement of old tissues, conversion of food to energy, disposal of waste material, reproduction, all the activities that we characterize as a life. The greatest majority of these biochemical reactions do not take place spontaneously. The phenomena of catalysis makes possible biochemical reactions necessary for all life processes. A catalyst is a substance that can be added to a reaction to increase the reaction rate without getting consumed in the process. The catalyst of biochemical reactions are enzymes. In other words, enzymes are biological catalysts synthesized by living cells that enhance the biochemical reaction. Proteins are RNA. Almost all enzymes are proteins, except catalytically active ribonucleic acids, which are called ribozymes or RNA enzyme. Extraordinary catalytic power. Enzyme can enhance the rate of reaction by 10 raised power 16 over uncatalyzed reaction. The reactions which may proceed in years in the presence of enzyme takes place in a second or in minutes. High degree of specificity. Enzymes are highly specific in nature and their activities are regulated. They have specificity for the kind of reactions they catalyze and on the kind of reactant they acted. In other words, only specific substrate could bind with specific kind of enzyme. For example, lactase can only hydrolyze the beta-1,4 glycosidic bond of lactose to yield glucose and galactose. Structure of enzyme. Like all proteins, enzymes are linear chains of amino acids that fold to produce a three-dimensional structure. The sequence of the amino acids specifies the structure, which in turn determines the catalytic activity of enzymes. You can see the primary protein structure on the top right corner. Enzymes are usually much larger than their substrate. Substrate size range from just 62 amino acid residues for the monomer of 4-oxaloprotonate tautomerase to over 2500 residues in the animal fatty acid synthase. Only a small portion of their structure is directly involved in catalysis, which is known as the active site. The active site of an enzyme is the region that binds the substrate and converts it into product. On the top left side, you can see the inactive protein portion that is called the apoenzymes, and the active sites and the non-proteinous part which make that enzyme active. Protein enzymes are classified into two types. One is the simple protein enzyme. They are formed of protein only. Second one is complex or conjugated enzyme. They are formed of protein part and non-protein part. The protein part is called the apoenzymes, the inactive protein component of an enzyme, and the non-proteinous part, that is called the cofactor. If the non-protein moiety is a metal ion such as zinc ion or iron ion, the molecule is called the cofactor, which is further subdivided into coenzyme and prosthetic group. Organic coenzyme is an organic thermolabile loosely attached to enzyme. Coenzymes are mainly vitamin B derivatives, for example FAD or NAD, whereas prosthetic group are the inorganic thermostable molecule that bind tightly to an enzyme. This is the model diagram to understand the function of coenzymes. The inactive form of enzyme, with the help of these non-proteinous part coenzyme, can bind with the substrate to form enzyme substrate complex and finally gives the product. Many enzymes remain inactive in the absence of these coenzymes. In this diagram, we can see the protein is inactive without the cofactor attached, whereas cofactor binding activates the protein. The protein portion of the enzyme is called the apoenzymes. The non-proteinous portion of the enzyme is called cofactor, which may be organic or inorganic. The organic cofactor is called the coenzymes and the inorganic in nature is called the prosthetic group. The active enzyme in the presence of its cofactor is called the holoenzymes. Lock and key model. To explain the observed specificity of enzymes, in 1894, M.L. Fisher proposed that both the enzyme and the substrate possess specific complementary geometric shapes that fit exactly into one another, similar to lock and key. As specific key can open the specific lock, a specific substrate can bind to specific enzyme. This early model explains enzyme specificity but fails to explain the stabilization of the transition state that enzyme achieve. Induced fit model. In 1958, Daniel Koshland suggested a modification to the lock and key model. According to him, the substrate does not simply bind to a rigid active site. The amino acid side chains that make up the active site are molded into the precise positions that enable the enzyme to perform its catalytic function. In some cases, such as glycosidases, the substrate molecule also changes shape slightly as it enters to active site. In this model, conformational changes of protein takes place. If we see in the image 1, the enzyme and substrate, the active site of the enzyme is not complementary as the substrate. So in position 2, the enzyme shape changes slightly. Such changes are called the conformational changes of the protein. When the substrate and the active site of the enzymes both are the geometry of the both shapes are complementary, now they bind and make the enzyme substrate complex in step 3. When the enzyme substrate complex is formed, now definitely that converted into their product and the enzyme is released. Enzyme substrate complex. The enzyme substrate complex is a temporary molecule formed when an enzyme comes into perfect contact with its substrate. In the above image, we can see the substrate entered to the active site of the enzyme. The active site of the enzyme is not complementary as the substrate is. So before binding, as we have discussed in the previous slide, the enzyme make conformational changes so that the enzyme can bind perfectly in the second step. In third step, they can make the enzyme substrate complex. In the last step, the product leaving active site of enzyme and the product is formed. The substrate causes a conformational changes or shape change when the substrate entered the active site. The enzyme substrate complex must form before the formation of product. In the below image, we will see the energy along the y-axis and the reaction progress along the x-axis. Here we can see the progress of reaction. When the reactant will convert into the product, they must cross the energy barrier. All the chemical reactions have an energy barrier separating the reactants and the product. This barrier is the free energy of activation. The minimum amount of energy that brings the reactant to the transition state, high energy state. In other words, the minimum amount of energy required to initiate the reaction. It means when enzyme and substrate bind, they require the energy to bring them to the transition state. And then the energy is released and the product is formed. The mechanism of enzyme action tell us that before going to product, enzyme substrate complex must cross the energy barrier. The role of enzyme is to provide an alternate energetically favorable pathway different from the uncatalyzed reaction. In other words, enzyme decrease the energy barrier. It decreases activation energy and as a result, the transition state achieved in a short time interval and product is formed as early as 10 raised power 8 over uncatalyzed reaction. In this image, we can see a person with a weight. He want to cross the barrier. If the peak is high, of course, he required more energy to cross that barrier. This barrier is the activation energy. If this barrier is decreased with the help of enzyme, in the image B, you can see the person required less amount of energy and less time to cross that small barrier. In the similar way, when a person eat something containing lactose, an enzyme in the small intestine called lactase breaks it down into simpler sugar, glucose and galactose, which are easily absorbed into the bloodstream and turn into energy. In image A, that is the reaction without enzyme, and in B you can see that is with enzyme. Without enzyme, the activation energy is much higher. It required much more energy to make the enzyme substrate complex. And in image B, when enzyme is present as a catalyst, the less amount of activation energy is required and less time is required to achieve the transition state. This is the enzyme substrate binding. You can see in lock and key model the geometry of the substrate and the active site of the enzyme, they are complementary to one another. They can combine and make the enzyme substrate complex like a lock and key model. These are the rigid structure. But in induced fit model, the geometry of the substrate and the active site of the enzyme, they are not complementary, so that the enzyme undergo conformational changes upon binding to substrate, so that they can make the enzyme substrate complex. In induced fit model, they are not the rigid structure. Now we will see the free energy profile. Because of the high value of free energy of activation, the rate of uncatalyzed chemical reactions are often slow. The lower the free energy of activation means, the faster the rate of the reaction. The enzyme does not change the free energy of reactant or product. It only lowers the activation energy or free energy of activation. Enzyme does not change the equilibrium of the reaction. However, it increases the rate with which equilibrium is reached. We can see in graph the free energy of activation along the y-axis and the progress of reaction along the x-axis. The red line represents the progress of reaction without enzyme, and the blue color line represents the progress of reaction in the presence of enzyme. We can see when the enzyme is not present, the activation energy is too high, mean more energy is required to convert the reactant to the product or the reactant to the transition state. But in the presence of enzyme, very less amount of energy is required to bring that reactant to the transition state and finally to the product. This is the function of enzyme, so that the important thing is enzyme can decrease only free energy of activation and did not take part in a chemical reaction. It only enhanced the rate of a reaction. Enzyme did not change free energy, mean the energy difference between the reactant and the product. Even enzyme is present or enzyme is absent, the free energy will remain same. This is the another representation of free energy profile. The reaction shown here is exergonic, mean the energy is released, and as we have discussed in the previous slide, the uncatalyzed and the catalyzed pathway. In figure B, we can see clearly the comparison of free energy of activation profile for catalyzed and the uncatalyzed reaction, mean in the presence of enzyme and in the absence of enzyme. Now we will discuss about the factors that affect the enzymatic activity. These are temperature, water, pH, substrate concentration, enzyme concentration, inhibitors and product activators, and light or radiations. The effect of substrate concentration. In figure A, the substrate concentration along x-axis and the initial velocity or the rate of reaction along the y-axis. We can see in the beginning the rate of enzymatic reaction is directly proportional to the substrate concentration. As well as the substrate concentration is increased, the rate or the initial velocity of the enzymatic reaction also going to increase. But at higher substrate concentration, the enzyme becomes saturated and the rate does not depend on concentration of substrate. In the beginning, there are first order kinetics, mean the rate depends upon the one reactant. But at higher substrate concentration, there is zero order kinetics. Rate does not depend on concentration of a reactant. In figure B, that is a graphical representation of Vmax, maximum velocity, and the Michaelis-Menten constant from a plot of reaction velocity. Effect of pH on enzymatic activity. Each enzyme has an optimum pH at which the velocity is maximum. Most of the enzymes of higher organisms show optimum activity around neutral pH 6 to 8. However, many exceptions are there, like in case of pepsin, it shows optimum pH around pH 1 to 2. In this graph, we can see the enzymatic activity along y-axis and the pH value along x-axis. pH 7 is a neutral pH, below 7 there is a acidic solution, and above is show basic or alkaline. In case of urease, its optimum pH is around 6 to 7. In case of trypsin, the optimum pH is 7.5 to 8.5. It means each enzyme has its optimum pH value and they are pH sensitive. Effect of temperature on enzymatic activity. Temperature affects the rate of enzyme catalyzed reaction in two ways. As well as the temperature increases, the rate of enzymatic reaction also increases. Secondly, thermal denaturation of protein at higher temperature takes place. In the beginning, if we see in this graph, the rate of reaction along y-axis, the temperature along x-axis. In the beginning, as well as the temperature is increased, the rate of the reaction also going to increase. But at optimum temperature, which is around 37 to 45 degrees Celsius, it shows maximum activity. When we increase the temperature above 45, the enzyme denature, so the rate falls rapidly. At temperature 60 degrees Celsius, the enzyme did not show any activity. It means enzymes are temperature sensitive and they show maximum activity at 37 to 45 degrees Celsius. Effect of product concentration. For certain enzymes, the product inhibit the enzyme activity. The product combine with the active site of enzyme and form a loose complex and thus inhibit the enzyme activity. Effect of activators. Some of the enzyme require certain activators which enhance the enzyme activity, such as cofactors, coenzymes. The cofactors are ions of magnesium, potassium, calcium, zinc, iron, copper, etc. Coenzymes are NAD, niacin, vitamin B3, vitamin B2, riboflavins, coenzymes A, etc. Effect of inhibitors. The rate of an enzymatic reaction can be decreased by various types of enzyme inhibitors. Those inhibitors are of two types: reversible inhibitors and irreversible inhibitors. Reversible inhibitors bind with non-covalent bond and irreversible inhibitor bind with covalent bond. Reversible inhibitors are of three types: the competitive inhibitor, which bind at the same site where the substrate is bind at the same active site where the substrate is bind. Non-competitive inhibitor binds at the site other than the active site, and uncompetitive inhibitor binds to the enzyme substrate complex only. This is the graphical representation of substrate inhibitor, as we have already discussed. Normal enzyme, competitive inhibitor and non-competitive inhibitor, and below is the water activity. Enzymatic activity start at a water content of 0.2 gram per gram protein. The activity to a limiting value reached at a water content of 0.9 gram per gram protein. The effect of light or the radiation. We can see Lacaze activity, that is in percentage along y-axis, and the dose of radiation of Lacaze in kGy, that is kilogray, the radiation unit of Mayer. In the beginning, when the kilogray is less, the activity is high, and at 4, that is minimum, and after that, if the radiation is increases, that activity did not change. That is the saturation point. And this is the end of our talk. Thanks for patience, and please don't forget to subscribe our CJUAS channel.